the end of the second week in August 2025. We went from diving into this awesome accommodation and its recognition in the astronomical world to IAC's record-breaking pre-registrations before learning about the cosmic clocks and the SKA's further commissioning phase. Let's take you on a deep dive. NASA's Europa Clipper successfully tested its ice-penetrating radar system during a close flyby of Mars earlier this year, proving it's ready for the frozen crust of Europa, orbiting Jupiter. Kestrel Nest EcoHut in southern New South Wales has become the first accommodation in Australia to be internationally recognised as dark sky accommodation, sparking hopes of a new tourism boom. The recognition comes from Dark Sky International, a recognised worldwide authority combating light pollution. They're a team of 2,000 plus volunteers and advocating around the world with the aim of protecting the valuable night sky. To be recognised as dark sky accommodation, the facility must meet the following criteria: be located in a region with an exceptional dark sky resource, understand sensitive nighttime resources and appropriate means of reducing the impact of light at night, showcase exemplary outdoor lighting practices, allow regular nighttime access to guests and provides educational or outreach material about night sky conservation to guests.
Well, we're very small scale farmers, and really the income from our farming was never going to be enough for us. But we have this really beautiful property, and 2/3 of our property is under a conservation covenant protecting critically endangered habitat. And we just thought, what a beautiful place to share with other people. So during the drought, we started working on Kestrel Nest. And then shortly after the drought, the Black Summer fires came through, and everything you see 365 degrees was burnt in Black Summer, but the half-built hut was saved by 5 fire crew. Yeah, so it actually gets its name because the only bird we saw around this area for 2 weeks was a kestrel.
More than 200 places across the world are dark sky certified, including the Warrumbungles and the Murray River. But there are only 9 certified temporary accommodation sites and just 2 in the Southern Hemisphere, Kestrel Nest and a lodging in Brazil. Dark Sky Communications Manager Drew Reagan said the lodging program started just over a year ago due to the rise of astrotourism. Mr. Reagan said Dark Sky International aimed to protect the nighttime environment, not just for the view of the stars and cosmos, but also to protect nocturnal wildlife and ecosystems. Australia in Space reported earlier in July an exclusive with the Kanyini mission team. They noted that recently the South Australian CubeSat has encountered an unexpected technical anomaly during its operation, which will affect some of the planned research objectives. The satellite's payload interface computer has suffered the anomaly, with communication between the hyperspectral imager and IoT payloads no longer possible. However, all other systems are functioning normally, meaning engineers are able to maintain telemetry, tracking and control information. SmartSat CRC is working with partners to find alternatives to ensure their mission objectives are achieved. The International Astronautical Federation announced in July a new milestone in its history. The 76th International Astronautical Congress, or IAC 2025, set to take place in Sydney from the 29th of September to the 3rd of October this year, has already received over 3,000 early bird registrations, surpassing the previous record held by IAC 2024 in Milan. Go Aussies! This extraordinary achievement reflects the global space community's growing enthusiasm and commitment to shaping the future of space. Held under the theme Sustainable Space, Resilient Earth, IAC 2025 will serve as a global platform for fostering dialogue, collaboration and innovation on space-based solutions for Earth and beyond. organised by the International Astronautical Federation, hosted by Space Industry Association of Australia and co-hosted by the Australian Space Agency and New South Wales Government, IAC 2025 will welcome thousands of space professionals, decision makers, academics, industry leaders, astronauts and students from across the globe. The comprehensive program will feature over 200 technical sessions, high-level plenaries, ministerial and agency roundtables and the IAF Global Networking Forum, offering unmatched opportunities for knowledge exchange, strategic partnerships and global visibility. And Talkin' Science will be there. We've just had our press credentials approved and I've got some new storytelling methods in mind to trial at the week-long summit, so stay tuned. The SKAO Observatory has announced its next Director General will be Professor Jessica Dempsey. She's set to take up the position from June 2026 for a 5-year term. Professor Dempsey was appointed following an exhaustive selection process, with the final decision by the SKAO Council representing each of its 12 member states. She will succeed Professor Philip Diamond, who wraps up his 14-year tenure in May next year. Currently the director of the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, Professor Dempsey is a renowned radio astronomer with extensive experience in senior leadership, having previously been Deputy Director of the East Asian Observatory in Hawaii. In addition to her impressive research career, the SKAO press release notes that she has demonstrated a commitment to creating greater diversity, equity and opportunity at all levels of astronomy and has spoken extensively about creating inclusive practices in the workplace. She has been the Chair of Ethics in Astronomy at Radboud University in the Netherlands since 2023. And as the next Director General, Professor Dempsey will oversee the observatory as it transitions into its science verification phase, as well as the continued construction of both arrays in Western Australia and South Africa. Science verification is when the science community will gain access to early SKAO data, due to begin in the first half of 2027. In more SKA news, observations of pulsars, rapidly spinning dead stars, are helping the SKA Observatory to prepare for early science operations. The observatory has released one of these observations, made with an early version of the ska-low telescope in Western Australia, as scientists work to fine-tune the sensitivity of the growing array. Pulsars are rapidly spinning neutron stars with strong magnetic fields. Their rapid and regular rotations make them incredibly precise space clocks, as accurate as the best atomic clocks on Earth. The Vela pulsar is one of the brightest pulsars in the southern sky, and at about 900 light years away, one of the closest to us here on Earth. It's one of a growing catalogue of close to 50 known pulsars so far observed as part of the commissioning phase of ska-low, which is under construction on Wiradjuri Imaji country in Western Australia. ska-low's 2-metre tall antennae are grouped into stations of 256 antennas each. This observation used 4 complete stations, comprising 1,024 antennas in total. As more and more antennas are added to the telescope, teams are commissioning and calibrating stations individually and ensuring they work together as one big telescope. The pulsar data release comes just a couple of months after the first image from these first 4 stations was released back in March. Daily science and space stories with an Aussie flair, plus a deep dive into the story of the week and the occasional science fiction podcast. Like, follow and subscribe for more. Membership available to help us do more. That's at the Trek.zone/support. A huge thanks to Louise and the team for putting us up here at the Kestrel Nest EcoHut. It's been a fantastic week. Looking forward to another one next week. More great stuff to show you. There's plenty more photos and video to share as we get through the stories of the week. A huge thanks to Liam, my cameraman. It's been 12 years since we've been out in the middle of nowhere with no phone coverage, filming stuff for social media and community television. So really appreciate his company. For now though, this is Trekzone's Talkin' Science.